my problem with that.
Hmm.
That's what I believe.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
I really believe that. We'll talk about it tonight. And people are tuning in now going, what the hell are they talking about? Sounds really, really good.
Oh well,
Sounds juicy. It
yeah.
is juicy, but you'll find out in a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a
Just
lot to talk
hang in
about
there.
tonight.
Oh, a lot to talk about. So, um, how was your weekend?
It was good, really, really good. We
Good.
had a lot to do, and we started some spring cleaning actually. So
Yeah.
getting rid of the old stuff.
You know when I do spring cleaning?
Hmm.
In spring.
In the spring, I start early.
Yeah, like in the winter.
Yeah, pretty much here. It's really
Well,
nice
I'll tell you what.
outside.
You ready to
So
go? Want to do
absolutely, let's
this?
do this.
Let's go.
Hmm.
Oh, the mad dog must be mad. He barked twice tonight.
Uh oh. Uh
Oh, oh,
oh. What got him mad tonight?
oh. I'm telling you what, boy. It's Tuesday night. It's 4 o'clock in L.A., Los Angeles, California. It is 6 o'clock in Chicago, the gateway to the Midwest, Chicago, Illinois.
Hmm.
6 o'clock. And here in New York City, it's 7 p.m. And on a Tuesday night, Amelia Pitbull Chapman, what does that mean?
It's Blunt Talk Radio time.
It is Blunt Talk Radio. Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Mad Dog DeCipio, joined as I am each and every week by the Pitbull herself, Amelia,
Hmm.
the Pitbull Chapman, the
Right.
sweetest Pitbull you'll ever meet. She'll take your head off.
Right. Yeah. Don't make me
I'm
mad
telling you
because
what.
I
Oh,
will get you.
Pitbull was on a tear last week, boy. Holy
Hmm.
shit. So, listen, we were supposed to have a special guest tonight. He has not shown up, so he will not be ever invited back again. So it
Well, I'm
was
happy to
supposed to
fill in
be.
anytime.
Yep. Well, look, hey, if you snooze, you lose. Bye bye, baby. You know, bye
Right.
bye, bye bye. So
Right.
anyway, so he's not coming back.
Right.
Won't be invited back.
No.
So here's the deal. Tonight on Blunt Talk Radio, we're gonna do. You're gonna love this one.
Hmm.
Tonight's show, NOTW. Now, Amelia's looking at that going, what the hell is that?
I
NOTW.
know. Like,
What does
what
that
is
mean?
that? Uh oh.
News of the week.
Hmm.
That's it. NOTW. News of the week. So tonight, we got a lot of news to talk about, actually. There's some stuff we're going to talk about on our shows. We got some stuff going on our shows. In fact, you know what? We might want to do that first.
Okay.
Let's do that first. Let's tell everybody you're used to seeing alternating co-hosts here from time to time. We're not going
Right.
to do that anymore.
No.
Amelia and I talked about it. I am going to do Tuesday nights myself.
Hmm.
She joined me tonight because, as I said, I was supposed to have a guest tonight, and my guest never showed up. So Amelia, being the trooper she is, she popped in and helped out Papa Bear.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
you want to know why they call me the Mad Dog? Get me
Because he's
mad and find out.
mad.
Get me mad and find out. So here's what we're doing tonight. Let's talk about your shows from last week.
Oh, absolutely.
You did Wednesday and you did Thursday. Now,
Hmm.
last Tuesday, I I gotta laugh. Last
Hmm.
Tuesday, I had God bless his heart. I
Hmm.
had a guy named Jerry Lewis on the show. Not the funny Jerry Lewis. Trust me when I
No.
tell you. This guy was boring as shit. I mean, really fucking boring. Stupid as the day is long.
But we did have
Really
a Jerry
stupid.
Lewis, at one time. But the other Jerry Lewis was funny.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That one was funny though. We got to make sure we tell
Not
that
even
one.
a little bit.
No.
Not even a little bit. It was last Tuesday. Look, we did a tribute to one of my favorite movies, Smokey
Mhm.
and the Bandit.
Oh, I love that movie.
It was a great movie,
Mhm.
and it's a classic. It's a classic movie. Now,
Mhm.
I had a gentleman on the show that's a dead ringer for Jackie Gleason,
Oh my gosh.
and he wasn't he amazing?
I was like,
Sean Bailey,
uh-huh.
absolutely. Sean Bailey looked. He was a ringer for Jackie Gleason, and I want to tell you what you would have thought that Sheriff Buford T. Justice was sitting in our studio. That this guy was absolutely remarkable.
And that
Well,
voice.
and he saved the show last week. I got news for you. Amelia, listen to this one.
Mhm.
Just humor me a minute. Just listen
Oh,
to this.
absolutely.
Because I want the people that didn't see the show, I want them to hear this. So I had a gentleman on the show named Jerry Lewis.
Mhm.
He calls himself the Gray Man. Now, when you find out what the fuck that means, please let me know. Because I still don't have a clue what it means. Okay. The Gray Man. So I don't know, maybe his alter ego, his character, whatever it is. It's stupid, whatever it is, Jerry. It's fucking stupid. Okay. If you're watching, I hope you are. Because it was stupid, the Gray Man. And your questions were ridiculous. And you didn't have any questions. That's the problem. Well, it's a talk show, Jerry. You're supposed to ask questions. Um, I'm 5 minutes into the show, Amelia,
Mhm.
and he says, "When are we going to hear about the Diablo sandwich and the Dr. Pepper?"
What?
Well, you just blew the fucking bit, asshole. I want
Uh.
to ask about because I had a whole line of questions that
Uh-huh.
about Diablo sandwich and the Dr. Pepper.
That's like meat of the whole show.
Yeah, exactly. You know how it works,
Right.
okay? Because
Uh,
I taught you well.
right.
That's why you know. Here's the thing, though.
Mhm.
When you got somebody that's a moron from Iowa, excuse me, worse yet, Nebraska,
Mhm.
that's what you get, okay? That's what you get. So, anyway, he'll never be back on the show. He'll never be back on the show. Not invited back. As our tonight's guest will never be invited back. You had the opportunity. You're done, brother.
Mhm.
Goodbye.
Mhm.
Um. So yep, and he's not on Facebook, and so there you go. Done. Um. So tonight we're going to talk about what happened last week on your show. So you were Wednesday, and you were with me on Thursday. So
Mhm.
tell everybody what kind of feedback you got, you and Carrie. We'll just talk about.
We talked about body shaming actually, it, with men and actually with women, but that it actually happens to men as well. That you would be surprised that it's not just 20% of men; it's actually a big percentage of men as well. Uh,
Quite a bit, as a matter of fact.
mhm.
Up
And
to I read the studies on that you were talking about.
mhm,
Listen to this one. Up to 50% of men
mhm,
are body shamed by other men and women.
absolutely, yes,
Now, listen to this one. It's going to blow you away. The real numbers, too.
hmm,
Up to 80%, up to 80% of women are body shamed by other women.
oh yes,
Okay.
that's pretty sad too.
What do you think the percentage of men is that body shame women?
That body shame women, I would say it's up to at least 80% or higher.
No,
No.
no, it's under 10%.
Mm.
The number of men who body shame women is under 10%. You hear that?
Wow,
I want
that's
you to listen to what I said. Listen carefully what I said.
mhm.
Okay. Tell everybody what I just said.
That's under 10% that men body shame women.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Okay. Which tells me that women are very evil with each other.
Yeah, I can see
Women
that.
are very backbiting with each other.
Mhm.
It's men, on the other hand, 50% is a pretty fair number.
Mhm.
80% is pretty fucking high.
It is
It's
very
high.
high. It
Yeah.
is very high. And then a lot of women are pretty much on their own body shame themselves, which is very sad.
Well,
It's very, very
That is
sad.
a valid point. You just talked
Mhm.
about that last week.
Mhm.
I should point out, and it's no secret because everybody watches the show,
Mhm.
that you and Carrie are both larger women.
Mhm.
Okay, and look, I'm no lightweight either. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm a short little fat Italian guy with a deep voice.
No.
But that, look, here's the thing though. Um, well, none of us are perfect,
No.
and when you body shame, think of it this way.
Mhm.
Look at my hand.
Mhm.
When you point a finger this way, how many are pointing back?
At least 3.
Yeah, at least
Mhm.
three. And where's the thumb pointing?
Probably
The
back.
thumb's pointing this way,
Mhm.
back at you.
Yeah.
So you got 4 pointing at you and 1 pointing ahead.
Mhm. And
Remember that the next time you point fingers.
yeah.
Every time you go like this, there's 3 looking right back at you.
And I used to be, when I was younger, I used to be real, real skinny. I mean, I used to be 103 pounds. I've actually
I get
lost.
you.
I've lost at least 60 something pounds. Why? The reason I'm like this is because it's a lot of extra skin that I have that I need to
I hear
actually
you,
lose.
Amelia. Oh, look,
You know,
it's all
so
part of the weight process.
hmm yeah.
But don't forget, you're not 20 anymore.
No, I'm not.
You
That's
know,
that's
when you get
actually
into your
surgery that I
50s
had
and
to.
say, look, I'm
hmm
over 50.
hmm
I'm over 60, in fact.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
hmm
I remember, not all that long ago.
hmm
I weighed 138 pounds.
Wow.
Okay.
hmm
And I'll tell you when it was. In 2001,
hmm
2002, I was working a job. That's the job I ended up getting hurt at. I broke my back.
mm
I weighed 138 pounds at that job.
Wow.
I broke my back. I
hmm
was in traction. I was in bed for a year. I was in a wheelchair for almost another year.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
yeah, 10 and a half, 11 months. And
hmm
then I had to use a walker and a cane
Mm.
for the remaining time after that. So
Oh my gosh.
physical therapy, I went through
hmm
physical therapy crazy,
Mm.
like crazy. I was a nut
Mm.
in physical therapy, right?
hmm
All that time, gaining weight, gaining weight, gaining weight. I weighed at my heaviest. Now think about something. I'm 5'3".
hmm
Okay, I weighed 220 pounds.
Wow.
Right now, I'm 190 as of this morning.
Wow.
Okay,
hmm
and I'm a diabetic on top of it. Because I'm trying to keep my sugar under control, but I have one little problem.
hmm
I really love sweets.
I know that's the hardest part,
I
especially today
love
being
me a sweet.
Valentine's Day.
Oh man, well, I'll
hmm
tell you, hey, we did good though because the
hmm
waitress came to us and said, "You want some coffee or dessert?" I said,
hmm
"Yep, gonna go home and have my here you go, decaf
Right.
coffee." I
No.
haven't had a regular cup of coffee
hmm
in oh God, how long now?
hmm
2 years?
hmm Yeah,
2 years?
since we've known each other, you haven't had a regular cup of coffee.
Yeah.
hmm
Well, yeah, a year with you and like probably another year before, like 2
hmm
years.
Yeah.
Because I had this is decaf. You know what?
hmm
I can't tell. It tastes like
Yeah.
coffee.
You really can't really tell unless people tell you that that's not caffeinated.
And by the way,
hmm
I want to tell everybody
hmm
if you guys like coffee as much as I do and you can't drink caffeine,
hmm
Amelia turned me on to a great, great coffee company.
hmm
It's called Two Rivers Coffee. Go online. It's called Two Rivers Coffee Company.
hmm
And they've got the best flavored decaf coffees you'll ever drink.
Mm.
It's remarkable. I would, you know what I would, you know what, Amelia?
Mhm.
I want to talk to you after the show about
Okay.
something. Okay?
Okay.
Because that coffee's amazing.
It is really, really
Anyway,
good.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, we had a good show last week on
Mhm.
Thursday. We did a little round table or discussion. I love our round table
Oh
discussion
yeah, me too. It's
because
good to
they get
talk about.
feisty.
They do. We get
They
to
get feisty.
rant
Yeah,
about everything, and we're gonna
Amelia
have.
gets fired up.
Yeah, especially when we find out about shows that we did in the past and they get brought back.
Oh my God, yeah, right. We'll talk about that. Actually, we're going to talk about that this week, Thursday,
Hmm.
on the
Yeah,
roundtable. Let me
and
get into some of this stuff tonight, Neil.
yeah, that
We're going to
is
cover
interesting.
some stuff that happened in the last week or so.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, so everybody by now knows that
Hmm.
there's been some little rift with China.
Hmm.
All right. So China is having some credibility issues now with the U.S.
Hmm.
At first, there was the belief that there was a Chinese weather balloon
Hmm.
flying over the United States.
Right, the first
Then
one
we
that they
found
got.
out, say
Hmm.
again?
The first one that they supposedly got in North Carolina in the Atlantic.
Oh, no, wait, before that.
Hmm.
Yeah, before that.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, because I found out that it wasn't just one, and it
Hmm.
wasn't just this country either.
Oh, wow.
No, yeah, wait a minute. Oh, it gets good.
Hmm.
Here's what they say. Here's what they tell us. The weather balloons, we actually found out, we've confirmed they were not Chinese weather balloons, they were spy balloons.
What?
You're going to see a video tonight that's going to blow your mind.
Wow.
And I'm going to show, wait till I tell you. Hold on, because it gets good. Let me just read this to you.
Hmm.
Spy balloons confirmed, not Chinese weather balloons. United States and various governments shoot down 5 quote unquote UFO balloons over Canada, Alaska, North Carolina, Iowa, Germany, and over the U.S. Midwest. Unidentified objects were not sending communications, allegedly, but posed a very real threat to aircraft. That from the New York Times. Let me tell everybody what we're talking about, Amelia. Then
Okay.
you and I are going to talk about exactly what the hell is going on in the sky here.
Okay.
All right, so let's take a look at this.
Are just getting new pictures of the Chinese spy balloon shot down off the coast of South Carolina. CBS News has learned the Navy has recovered a significant portion of the antenna from the bottom of the ocean. But tonight there are new questions after the U.S. military shot down those 3 objects over the last 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, over Alaska, Canada, and one of the Great Lakes. Well, today the Defense Secretary said the Pentagon has not recovered any of the debris from those objects. CBS's Nancy Cordes joins us now from the White House. Good evening, Nancy. Well, there were a lot of good questions today at that briefing, but not a lot of good answers.
By the way, for those people who, we have our haters.
Hmm.
For those people who think I make shit up, you just heard it on CBS News. There you go.
That's right, Nora. U.S. officials couldn't say today whether these objects belong to China or to some other government or even to a company or an individual. They say President Biden made the decision to have them all shot down because they could not rule out the possibility that they were being used for spying. A mystery in the skies causing confusion on the ground.
What in the world is going on?
The latest objects appeared about a week after the Chinese spy balloon was taken out off the South Carolina coast. On Friday, an object roughly the size of a small car was shot down over sea ice in remote northern Alaska. On Saturday, it was a cylindrical object hovering over Canada's Yukon Territory. And on Sunday, an octagonal object over Michigan's Lake Huron.
How big was it?
We're still trying to assess what that was.
That won't be easy until debris.
You heard what the lady asked the guy, how big was it?
Hmm.
I'm going to show you how big it was because we got film of it. But finish watching this. Check this stuff out. It's remarkable. Really remarkable.
Debris from this weekend's objects can be recovered.
We are searching what is a fairly large area.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
There is some sort of pattern in there. The fact that we are seeing this in a significant degree over the past week.
Unlike the Chinese spy balloon, U.S. officials say these objects did not appear to be sending any communication signals or possess any maneuvering or propulsion capabilities.
likely hypothesis is that they were being moved by the prevailing winds.
But at 20 to 40,000 feet, they did pose a potential risk to civil aviation, according to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin.
And I want to reassure Americans that these objects do not present a military threat to anyone on the ground.
The Chinese government claimed today that the U.S. had flown more than 10 high-altitude balloons into their airspace since last year.
And that's already been proven to be a lot of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So the question you got to ask yourself, Amelia,
Mm-hmm.
is why all of a sudden, with, relative peace in the world, why is China wanting to stir the pot? What do they got? What do they got to gain here?
Exactly, especially now that I remember that we were talking about Biden's son works in China, and then all of a sudden this happening while Biden is
He
president.
does a lot of business with China. He makes a lot of money in China.
Mm-hmm.
You got to ask yourself, like, what's the deal? What's really going on here?
Exactly.
Here's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all a smoke screen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all a diversion to keep your eyes off of what's really happening. Okay? Because think about what's happening. The world's been at relative peace here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Democratic Party doesn't like peace. They like war.
Mm-hmm.
They love war because they found ways to profit off of war.
Oh, yeah, I know. So food price has gone up. We went to go get a loaf of bread. It was $4.
Thank you for the Democrats on that one.
Oh, yes.
Okay? Crazy. It's crazy.
Very
People
crazy.
don't remember that there was a time in this country, I'm not even lying.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time in this country would cost you $7.50 for a gallon of milk during wartime. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know why it was so much? Because your money was funding the war.
Yes.
But people, they go, I'm American, man. I'm American. God bless America. Red, white, and blue. Fuck that shit.
Yes.
Okay? I don't support funding any war for any reason. If the government wants to pay for a war, let the government use surplus money, not taxpayer money, to fund their fucking bloody war. Okay? We're going to get on that subject a little bit too, because I'm not done with that. I'm not done with that.
Or the money that they have hidden in their little, Swiss accounts that the presidents have, they use that money.
Oh, please. Are you kidding me? Amelia, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
That Chinese spy balloon over the Atlantic Ocean. And you might be asking yourself, wait, the what? It sounds like something from the last century, but there's actually a reason countries still use high-altitude surveillance balloons, even in the era of satellites. The one spotted over Billings, Montana in February 2023 was carrying surveillance equipment and was reportedly the size of...
Look at the size of that equipment.
Wow.
Now. Okay? Now you're going to see something.
Mm-hmm.
When they shoot that thing down, you're going to see that big array underneath it?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to watch that stuff crash to the ground. Watch. 3 city buses. When it was shot down, it was flying at an altitude of about 60,000 feet, but was likely capable of reaching the stratosphere, between 80 and 120,000 feet. That's above where fighter and commercial aircraft fly, helping it avoid detection. But it's still in the Earth's atmosphere, so unlike a satellite, the balloon stays in sync with Earth's rotation, which means it can observe one area over a long period of time. Plus, being closer to the ground than a satellite means higher resolution images. And maybe most importantly, balloons are cheap. So when this happens...
And a fish up. Well, that was it.
It's not as big of a deal as losing an expensive satellite.
See that?
Yeah, wow.
And he explained it perfectly. Why use a balloon? Because they can fly any fucking where they want. They're cheap. And they're very hard to detect if they go up high enough. Okay, this one happened to be low enough that they shot it out of the sky. But it's remarkable to think, because you're going to see something now. I want you to remember what you saw. You see that underneath that balloon, there was this big, large panel?
Yeah,
I'm going to show you a video where they captured that camera, that for lack of a better word, that canopy.
Okay.
Really, that's what it's, a large canopy array, and it's got equipment on it, a lot of equipment.
Okay.
Like millions and millions of dollars worth of equipment.
Oh, wow.
Take a look at this, Amelia.
The catch of the day. It's the Chinese spy balloon found by the U.S. Navy.
The U.S. Navy coming in with the China balloon.
You can see balloon fabric on the boat deck and boxes being unloaded on the dock. The balloon was discovered off North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Debris from the shoot-down lies scattered across 7 miles.
Look at this.
Some of it's intact. They'll be able to easily determine what it was and what it was used for.
We're learning more about the stunning moment the spy balloon was shot out of the sky.
Break one, splash one. That is a big kill.
We have eyes on the balloon falling.
Hundreds on the ground watch the Top Gun drama unfold.
That plane just had a strike.
The moment of impact was captured by photographer John Snyder.
I walked out to the driveway in the front yard, and I was like, oh, hey, there's the balloon.
Minutes after he set up his camera, the missile struck.
I knew I had got the shot. That's basically all it was, being in the right place at the right time.
This extraordinary image shows the payload.
Do you see it, Amelia?
Yeah, right there.
This, you want to talk about a guy that was at the right place at the right time. Here's what he did. He set his camera on a tripod. As soon as he did that, the balloon exploded because the missile hit it. Talk about timing.
Oh, yes. Perfect timing.
1 second too late, and he would have missed the whole the kill shot. But look at this. They captured that big panel, that array, falling to the ground. Watch.
A load of solar panels and spy equipment actually falling from the sky. It's the first time an aircraft has been shot down over U.S. territory since World War II. Now the recovered equipment may be an intelligence treasure trove for the U.S.
Our long national nightmare is over.
And just hours later, the historic moment was lampooned on Saturday Night Live.
We popped the balloon.
Wow, how fast.
You gotta get, that was fast. It happened that day, right? And Saturday Night Live was right on it. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about the spy balloon stuff.
Why were they all different shapes, did they say?
I want to ask you some questions. Don't get too far ahead of me there, Gungadin. Don't get too far ahead of me here, kid.
Okay.
All right, so let me ask you a question now. Serious. Let's talk a little serious talk here.
Yes.
What do you think the Chinese have to gain by this? All of a sudden.
Basically, well, of course, they're secrets. So see what we're talking about. Like, you know how they were saying TikTok has access to get our information as well, and the show that we did before.
Oh, I got news for you, Amelia. TikTok.
They already have our
tip
information.
of the iceberg, please.
And also to see what our military has.
I think you're getting into it. Yeah.
And you know how we have our military bases, and you know how they have different underground bunkers, stuff
I
like
want
that.
you to stop right there because you just said the magic word. I knew you were smarter than you looked. I'm going to pay for that one.
It's all my gray hair. It's coming out. See, getting there.
I know, right? Here's the thing. You were onto something, because here's what. Think about. Remember that map they showed you? They showed you Alaska, Montana, Canada. What's the one thing that all of those locations have?
Military bases.
Exactly. That's it right there. That's it. Every location they talked about houses a military installation.
Yes.
And I mean, you can't hide that fact.
No.
You know, you get a balloon up there with that kind of spy equipment. You know what it's doing? Here's what it's doing. Snap, 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 snap. It's just taking pictures all over the place.
Oh, yes.
Because it can take thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of pictures in minutes. Because we have that capability too. You know? Think about this. Think about this. Do you ever wonder how Google gets all of those locations on Google Maps?
Oh yeah, the Google Earth and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
You ever wonder how they do that? Simple.
With balloons and
Satellites.
the satellite
Yeah.
pictures and everything that they shine.
Exactly. With balloons, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're just snapping pictures. Yep. That's what they're doing. And people don't understand that. This is why, because you heard what the guy said. It's cheap. It's effective. They can fly very, very high, or they can fly very low. They can land on your front lawn, and they can hit the stratosphere where the moon, where rockets go to the moon.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about, really a versatile piece of equipment. So I think you're on to something when you say that. I also think that part of this is a diversion, because whenever there's trouble at the White House, they manage to find a way to divert your attention.
Oh yes,
And it's a little too convenient for me, Amelia, and here's why I say that. Couple of reasons. Number one, I feel like the Bidens have too much interest in China. We already know that Hunter Biden, the president's surviving son, is very, very connected to China through his business relationships. He makes money with China and for China, and they make money with and for him. Okay? You got to think to yourself, what would the president's interest be in starting shit with China? The other thing you got to ask yourself is, why would China start shit with us, knowing that our president is like this with them? Tight.
Blackmail?
Interesting. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh.
Could be blackmail.
Oh, Amelia pulled out a good one. Blackmail. Okay, explain that. I want you. I'm going to sit back and let you explain that one.
I mean, it could be that. Remember Hunter Biden's laptop that he had.
Oh yeah, we're not done with that laptop yet.
That could be something like that. It could be that Biden had something.
I think that Hunter Biden. You mentioned that laptop. We talked about that. I think Hunter Biden had little child porn.
It did.
On that laptop.
He did.
I think he's a scumbag. I think his father's a scumbag. I think he's a pedophile. I think his father's a pedophile. He's an old fuck that waited his turn to be president, and when it was time, they bought him the presidency.
Well, what happened?
That's what I think.
Is Hunter Biden went to go get his laptop fixed at this mom and pop place that was like in one of these places where you couldn't really.
Yeah, it was just a little joint. That's all.
Yeah, like you go to this place and you won't ever tell anybody kind of what you have on your laptop. But the guy got smart and went to a file. He said, "What's this? I've never seen this before." He clicked on it, saw what he saw. He called the police immediately. And instead of the police, the FBI come, grab the laptop, and take it.
And you never see it again, do you?
You never see it again.
And you will never see it again. You know why? Because right now the FBI has that, and they're going to replace the kiddie porn files with other files and say, this is what was on Hunter Biden's laptop.
Right.
And the government's going to do what they do best: lie to people.
Oh yeah.
Because the government is any world government is only good for one thing. Two things: lying and corruption.
Yes.
That's it. That's all governments are good for. Lying to you and corrupting your life through their nefarious means. Because governments think that they're the only ones who have a right to exist. Okay? I got news for the world. It was God's world before it was the government's world. And guess what? It's still God's world. He's only making you think you're in control. Remember that, assholes.
And they keep finding, you know how when you leave the president's office or vice president, you can't take anything with you. And how they keep doing that to Donald Trump. They supposedly kept finding the files that he supposedly, took with them, and they went to go hit his house.
Yeah.
Over here. Well, they found some more files in Biden's old home and office that
they
he had.
found them in his garage in Delaware.
And they keep finding more. And he's like, well, I don't know how those got there. Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't know how they got there. Of course.
And they keep finding more again.
Yeah. You know why?
Blackmail.
Because that's where the asshole put him, in his fucking garage.
He's like,
he's been holding on to. Listen to me. Folks, listen to me. That's what Biden would say. Go, folks, now listen, folks.
Yeah, right.
Listen, folks. All right, listen. Here's the deal, Joe. You're a liar. You're a cheater. You're an asshole. You're as evil and as corrupt as the day is long. You're starting to make Satan look good. Okay, that's how fucking bad you are.
Is that
okay?
the imaginary person you shake hands with every time you leave the podium? Makes me wonder.
Yeah, makes you wonder. Absolutely. Don't make me wonder.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm absolutely certain. Don't make me wonder one fucking bit.
And I'm coming after you next. We're going to do an expose on you next year.
Yeah, well, we're going to do something. Don't tip the hat.
Yeah,
maybe
soon. We don't know yet. We'll let you know soon.
In the next 3 weeks.
Maybe.
It will be in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a look at this again. I want you to watch some more of this.
U.S. officials quickly denied it. Despite heavy seas, the Navy has now recovered a 30 to 40-foot chunk of the Chinese balloon's antenna array from the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. As for the other mystery objects, U.S. officials have ruled out one possibility.
There is no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial activity with these recent takedowns. And it was important for us to say that from here because we've been hearing a lot about it.
Sure.
Okay, now just to show you, they're proving what I said. Okay, they're proving what I said 15 minutes ago. They're using extraterrestrials and aliens. Okay. First of all, nobody even suggested that they were aliens and extraterrestrials. That's their way of throwing humor in it to divert your attention.
In plain sight again.
Yeah, because we don't really want you to know what we're doing. Okay. That's the deal. Here, that's the real truth. They don't want you to know what they're doing, so they use. What do? You use humor. Okay, watch.
After the spy balloon incident about a week ago, the nation's radar system was adjusted to make it more sensitive. And officials say that's a big part of the reason that they're now detecting more objects. But what lawmakers want to know is what the criteria is that President Biden is going to use for deciding when to shoot objects down now that the U.S. is detecting so many more of them, Nora.
Nancy Cordes at the White House. Thank you very much.
All right. So that's what's going on here in the country. People are actually getting along, and there's a little bit of peace in the world for a change.
Right, for a change. Yeah, it makes you wonder. And then there's they throw in that's like, well, wait a minute, but we didn't ask about the aliens. Why are you throwing that in all of a sudden?
Look, here's what it's diversion. Take their. People are smarter than what the government gives us credit for.
Right.
Okay. It's just I shake my head sometimes and I go, God, why did you give us all so much intellect and them so much stupidity, but you put them in control? Okay, like why? You have to wonder why a loving God would do that.
Right.
But look. I will question God every day. You know what that means?
Yeah.
That means I'm talking to him.
It's like telling you, here, Angelo, here's the Bible, but we didn't mention the devil in there. I bet you're going to look in the Bible to make sure we did not
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right?
No, I know there's a devil in the Bible.
Because you're going to make sure. Are you sure? Because I know he's in there. Why didn't you mention that in there? You're going to go through paper.
Oh, he's in there a lot. Trust me.
It's like
you got to read it to find out, but he's in there.
Yeah.
Well, here's the point I'm trying to make, and it's really simple. It's a very, very simple proposition. Here's the deal. when the world is at peace, there are certain people in this world who are not happy with peace.
They're not.
And tranquility and love and kindness. There are people who get off on terror, who get off on making you miserable and sad and poor. Those people have names like Rothschild, Bilderberg, DuPont, Gates, Bush, all these Clinton, all these power brokers, okay? And yes, Kennedy.
Yes.
They're still around, folks. Believe it or not, they're still around.
They're the next generations.
Yep, the next generation. And they're as fucking corrupt as the first. In fact, even more so.
Yes.
But yeah, and look, if I'm wrong for speaking the truth, then I'll be wrong every fucking day. I got news for you. Because I don't care. I don't care. I'll speak the truth every fucking day. You know? I love God, but I hate church. Hate it. I love my country, but I hate my government. I love people, but I hate hypocrites. Okay? I deal with some of that myself, too, by the way. How's that for honest, okay? All right?
Yeah, because
but it's what we do as people. Amelia, what are the things you're hearing about the next subject we're going to talk about, and that's the interesting topic of the week? What do you know about this shooting in Michigan? What happened there?
All I know is that basically when I was listening to the news this morning is that this gentleman, this person, I'm not gonna call him a gentleman because it's not, went into this university in Michigan and started just shooting people just at random, and they were telling people to hide wherever they could or play dead. And it was an older gentleman, from what I understand. I don't know if he had.
He was 43, Neil.
He didn't have I don't think a student there.
Yeah, no, and that's a good
He
point
wasn't a
that you
parent.
brought up. Yeah. Go ahead, continue, because we're going to talk about that.
And I haven't really heard a lot of it yet because he didn't know anybody there. He was just shooting at random. They were trying to get people safe, and there was some casualties, there was some injuries, and then supposedly, I'm gonna say supposedly because I don't know all the story yet, and he shot himself supposedly. That's what I know.
So yeah, well, Amelia is giving you a pretty accurate description. She says he supposedly or allegedly shot himself. Amelia and I think I can speak for you on this one. Amelia and I don't believe that he committed suicide. We believe that he was killed. And we believe he was killed to shut him up. Because we believe that this shooter we believe he was sent there to cause havoc and promised a certain thing. And we also believe that he was shot to shut him up.
Yes, I believe that
Here's
too.
what we know, Mil. I found out a little something this afternoon. Because this just happened. So we're not, not all the details are even in yet. All right, so 3 people dead, multiple injured in Michigan State campus shooting. Suspect killed himself. 3 people were killed and at least 5 others were injured after a gun opened fire at Michigan State University. Now, here's what they say. A gunman. Whenever they say a gunman, what does that put in your mind? The crazy lone gunman, right? All by himself. All right, let me continue reading. At least 5 were injured after a gunman opened fire at Michigan State University on Monday night before turning the gun on himself, officials said. The lone suspect, I love how they do this. The lone suspect, 43-year-old Dwayne McCrae, MCRAE, Dwayne McCrae, a 43-year-old not affiliated with the university, shot up two separate buildings on campus and terrified dozens of students for roughly 4 hours while he remained at large. Now, I got a question right here. How do you remain at large on a college campus for 4 hours without being seen or caught or apprehended by the police? How do you do that? Because that's not setting right with me. It never did. Okay? It has not set right with me. Let me continue. Roughly for 4 hours while he remained at large, police said. Well, first of all, shame on the police for letting him on the campus for 4 hours. You should have shot his ass sooner. The 5 wounded victims suffering life-threatening injuries were rushed to a local hospital in critical condition. Michigan State University Police and Public Safety Interim Deputy Chief, say that one quick, Chris Rozman said during an 11 p.m. press conference that their victims' injuries appeared to be life-threatening, but were immediately rushed to the hospital in what we described as critical and guarded condition. Okay. The gunman, the alleged lone gunman, died as a result of self-inflicted wounds, according to police. I don't buy that for one fucking minute. And I don't buy this whole Michigan shooting thing. And I'm going to tell you why, folks. We've seen a pattern over the last 10 to 12 years that if you haven't seen this pattern, you need to wake the fuck up. Okay? It's always at an interim college like Michigan, like Detroit, like Wisconsin, like Iowa, Nebraska. It's always someplace far removed from the East Coast. Why? Because they're rural areas. Okay? What happens in rural areas, Neil?
Just like it's out in the middle of nowhere, basically.
That's it.
Yeah.
You just nailed it. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
But don't they have a guard before you get into those colleges, and
You're
then to get your license?
to show your ID. Yeah. Okay. Here's what I think. I think he showed them an ID. I think he showed them a police ID.
Yeah. Or a fake ID.
That's what I think. I think he showed them a police ID and got on campus.
And don't they have to take your license plate as well when you're going
Think about something. Well, wait a minute. Now, hold on. That's a good point, but wait. If you you flash somebody a police badge or police ID, what's going to happen most of the time?
Oh, go on. Go ahead. They're not even going to look at it.
They're not even going to question you. That's my point. They're not even going to question you. All right? And what does that mean? I mean, you walked in, you got carte blanche, brother. You walk around, go anywhere you want. You can go into any dorm, any rec hall, any auditorium. You can go into any lab building. Think about that. Think about if somebody had the knowledge, to put a bomb together and walked into a college lab. Okay. It's happened before, folks. If you don't remember your history, back in the 70s, a professor at a Midwestern university made ricin bombs. How did he do it? Not ricin bombs. He made ricin letters. Okay. He took a poison called ricin and he doused the paper in ricin. As soon as you open that thing up,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as what are you doing? You open the letter, you open it up, right? And you touch
Right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you touch it, you're dead.
Oh my God.
That's how deadly ricin is. Okay? As soon as you touch it, you're dead.
Mm.
It'll kill you in a matter of hours.
Oh
If
my
you
goodness.
think I'm kidding, go
Mm-hmm.
look it up. Ricin.
Yeah. And then whenever we have like a small college not too far from here, and
Right.
we pulled in, and they said, any adults that are here, and I said, yes, it's us too. And then our kids, they were like underage. They said, well, let us see the parents' ID. Well, what are you doing here? We're just gonna want to look around the college. And say, okay, you have an hour. So they gave us this little thing. They had to put it outside our car, drive around, and they was the security was driving around in their little golf carts. And they
Mhm.
looked at our stickers and said, okay, well, you have just an hour. I said, okay, that's fine. That's all we need. So we just had like 30
Yeah.
minutes, and then we had to drive around and the exit, and there was the security, and we had to
Yeah.
give them our little tag back.
Well,
just to make
let's
sure.
take a look at this for a second, real quick.
We are now getting our first glimpses at what happened just before this shooting started and what happened inside that classroom as those first gunshots were fired. We just spoke with a student who was in that classroom last night when those gunshots went off. He heard that first gunshot just before he said the gunman entered his classroom. That man told us he barely remembers everything that unfolded, and he never got a glimpse of the gunman himself. Around 8 o'clock last night, investigators had told us they got their very first calls from inside a university building that there was a gunman opening fire inside of classrooms. Investigators say as they arrived at that building here on the East Lansing campus, they believe that gunman went from one building to another. That was the student union. They believe he carried out more of a shooting inside that second building. Surveillance cameras captured him leaving that second building and captured a photo that investigators then put out to police trying to track this man down. But this is what we heard from the student who heard those very first shots fired around 8 o'clock last night.
Right when that first gunshot went off, I booked it to the far corner of the class. I was sitting right next to the door where he came in, literally one of the first two seats he came in. And I thank God my fight or flight response kicked in because I booked it to the far side of the class and ducked down, and he came in and shot 3 to 4 times in our classroom.
Yeah, that kid that you just heard, that student.
Uh-huh.
Now imagine that. His seat is right next to the door.
Mm-hmm.
The guy burst into the classroom. He walked right past where that student was.
He is. That's one lucky kid.
Right? Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit. And of course, he could have been the first one to get shot.
Yeah, because you open the door right there, boom. Yeah.
Yeah, but think about what happens when you walk into a room.
Mm-hmm.
What do you normally do? You walk in a few feet, don't you?
Yeah, you open the door and you just like go that way. Or
Well, this guy burst into the door,
mm-hmm.
guns are blazing, and he went right past him. That gave that kid
Mm-hmm.
just enough time to hit the deck and roll out the way.
Mm.
Listen to this.
Well, that young man said that he kept his head down. He never got a single glimpse at the gunman, but he believes that people in his class were some of those victims who may have passed away. Ultimately, he said some of his classmates broke the window of that building. They were able to jump out of the window and get away to safety. He still does not know why he was not one of the people shot. We're going to hear more from him later on. We're also waiting to hear from investigators in just a few minutes about any details they may have garnered in this investigation overnight. But what we know right now is that 43-year-old gunman, they say, is dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. 3 other victims are also dead. 5 people, they say, are being treated at a nearby hospital for life-threatening injuries.
Yep, that's what they say. That's what they say.
Mm.
Amelia and I say, bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Exactly.
I don't believe it.
Mm-mm.
But this is the next clip I want to show you, Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, I want you to listen to. This is a television station right in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, the TV station isn't far from the college.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, listen to this news report. It's from that area.
And we have an unfortunate update to tell everybody now. Michigan State Police saying there are 3 confirmed fatalities. That is in addition to the 5 victims who have been transported to the hospital.
That is just tragic news, and we don't know if those parents have been alerted. We don't know if those are all students. We haven't identified those victims, but just to think that 3 people have been killed on Michigan State's campus, and if that is a student of yours, our thoughts and prayers are going out to all of the students, all of the parents, all of the loved ones who are suffering and hearing that news. And we have seen those images with sheets over bodies, like you heard that one parent, Ronald, talk about. So many kids are seeing images like that, and now it's being confirmed that 3 of them have died. We don't know if that's at Sparrow Hospital.
And we've seen, unfortunately, we've experienced the rippling effects, even on a smaller scale with Oxford High School, of just how big the impact of any single fatality, much less anybody wounded, is on not just family, but friends, teachers, the entire MSU community in this case.
Well, you just heard that Erica Humphreys say that even at Centro, when no one was killed, she said it took her a year to get over that post-traumatic stress. And that's what kids are going to feel here. When you're running and you see police with guns drawn and shots have been fired, now you're knowing that 5 are victims and some with life-threatening injuries.
Amelia, I want you to look at the picture on the right. You see the gun in his hand?
Yes.
Okay. He's putting the gun in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's putting the gun in his pocket. Because the first picture is the actual first picture is the one right there with the door open behind him where he's going into the building.
Right.
The second picture is you could see the door behind him is now closed. So what he did was he took the gun out of his he had the gun out and he's putting it in his pocket now. So nobody will question him, like, what are you walking around with a gun for?
Right.
Okay. Because that would be a giveaway. You see somebody walking around with a gun,
They're
you're
gonna
gonna call the cops. Absolutely.
Exactly. They're gonna be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Who are you?
Exactly. Check it out.
And then 3 have died. It's just devastating.
Yes, it is. And as you take a look at the screen right here, this is who police believe is responsible for that. This is the suspect. You see the jean jacket, you see the 2-tone hat, the red shoes, the dark-colored pants, an African-American male, short in stature.
And we're hoping and praying that if you are seeing these images and you know who this man may be, you call police right away so they can identify him and so they can find him quickly.
Come to find out, his name is Dwayne McCrae, MCRAE, 43 years old, from Lansing, Michigan. No students at the college. He's not a parent of anyone at the college.
Wow.
Nobody knows what he was doing there and why he took out his anger or frustrations on these college students. As you know, Amelia, many colleges have night class.
Right.
And a lot of students live on campus, especially students from, out of state, out of town.
Oh, absolutely. They travel from California to there just on a scholarship even.
Yeah. So, you got to ask yourself the question, like, what's this guy's motive? What does he want?
I mean, could it been upset that he's a Michigan football fan and that the team lost or something? I mean, we don't know anything at this time.
Yeah.
And that's
and that's the thing. You have to wonder to yourself, the guy has no children on campus. He has no association with the university. What the hell is he even doing there?
Or could it have been a government pawn that was brainwashed?
Amelia goes the conspiracy route. Now you're talking my language, kid. Here's what I think. I think Mr. Dwayne McCrae went in there under the guise of being a police officer or helping with the cops. Okay. How else are you going to get on campus with no valid ID? Okay. And you have no student on campus. And it's easy enough for them to check. They have a student registry. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You check with the registrar's office. Very simple. Very simple.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a kid there, it's going to show up. And if you give them a name and that kid ain't there, guess what? You're going to stay right there and they're going to call the cops till somebody comes.
Right.
Okay?
And could those kids that he shot or targets? We don't know. Could they were.
Well, now you're talking. Okay.
Mhm.
Now you're talking.
Or
Well,
that targets of the
it
family.
wouldn't be the first time. Look, it's happened at Virginia Tech, not once, but twice.
Mhm.
Twice at Virginia Tech. Okay. It's happened once in, I'm sorry, it's happened twice at the University of Texas.
Mhm.
Twice at the University of Texas. It happened back in the 60s and
Mhm.
it happened in the 90s. It happened in San Diego, San Francisco, and UCLA Berkeley.
Oh wow.
Okay. It happened at Kent State.
Mhm.
Okay. And that started a big ruckus. 5 students were killed at Kent State.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. That was a big, big deal. And all they were doing,
Mhm.
all these poor kids were doing were protesting the war in Vietnam.
Hmm.
See, you're too young to remember that, Amelia. I got to tell people, Amelia's a bit younger than I am.
Mhm.
She's actually like around my wife's age. Actually,
Mhm.
you're 12 years younger than I am, and Anita is 11 years younger than me.
Mhm.
That's why I really feel old sometimes. My wife calls me a fountain of useless information. And for the most part, she's right. But that useless information comes in very, very handy on my
Yes,
show.
it does. Mhm.
Sure the fuck does.
Mhm.
Amelia, tell everybody what's coming up.
Well, tomorrow we are going to be doing a show on autism. Me and Carrie Jeffries.
Ooh.
Yes.
And tell everybody the name of your show.
It is the Big Mouth, which I am not.
Let me show everybody. Hold on.
Which I am not.
Look in the corner. That's Amelia's logo, by the way. That was modeled after her mouth. That big mouth there. That's Amelia.
I don't think so. See, little.
Yep. That's the look she gives her husband, Jeff, when he says, honey, lend me some money. She goes, anyway. Yeah. I love you, Jeff. I know you're out there.
Yeah. Oh, he said something.
Goofy bastard. There he is. There's Jeff. He's in our chat room. Speaking of Jeff, here he is. Our government is performing mind control. You're absolutely right. By the way, Jeff Chapman, we're going to call him Mac Daddy. Jeff Mac Daddy Chapman. Jeff Chapman doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be my co-host probably next week.
Uh-oh.
Okay? And then I'm going to get young Mr. Joseph Chapman on this show because he's a conspiracy kook like I am. But we're all conspiracy nuts. I love these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, I hope you heard that, kid. You're coming here with me for a little bit.
All right. And Thursday,
so tell everybody what's happening, Mil.
Thursday, we're going to be doing, of course, our roundtable again, but we're going to be doing the Georgia Guidestones.
Yes, yes.
And they
fascinating case, the Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah.
They've been called America's Stonehenge.
Stonehenge, yes.
But recently, around, I want to say about
July.
5 or 6 months ago.
July 6th of 2022 is when it happened.
Yeah, okay. So, more than 6 months. Okay, so it's been 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
Whatever it's been, 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting, somebody, and we have the film, we're going to show it.
Yes.
Somebody blew up the Georgia Guidestones. Don't know why. Don't know who. What we think. We think there's a political connection here,
right?
That we're going to talk
again
about.
A political connection.
There's always a political. Look, it all comes down to politics. Okay, it comes down to 2 things well, 3 things in life: politics, good and evil, or money.
Yes.
power. That's what the three things that connect everybody in this world: politics, religion, money. Okay? You can't even say in which particular order because the order changes.
It does all the time. Depends on what subject we're talking about, basically. That time.
But it's funny how the subjects it changes what order, but they're always the same three, aren't they?
Always the same three, no
Isn't
matter
that
what
funny?
subject.
It's got to do
Always.
with either good and evil or religion, which is the same thing, politics or power and money.
Right.
Those and they. I grew up. My father said there's three things don't ever talk about at the dinner table: politics, religion, and sex. And you know what? He was absolutely right.
Oh, yes.
Those are the three subjects that will get your ass in trouble all the time.
Yep. You always got to listen to Papa because Papa's always right.
Papa knew best. Say father knows best. My father was a remarkable guy. Oh, your husband's here.
What? Oh, look at the guy's eyes. Okay.
Look at these guys' eyes.
Whose guy are you talking about? Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to show you a person when we do that show. I actually have video that I did when we were on the Psychic Realm Network. I did a show with my late co-host Shirley and our friend Marianne Howard.
Oh, they said yes, by the way, for the
oh, wonderful. We did a show on MK Ultra. Okay. I want you to see just how scary MK Ultra was, because I'm going to show you people being controlled and manipulated. And these films are from the 40s and 50s. What they used to do to people was horrendous. People used to die in these government experiments.
Wow.
And they didn't even know that they were being experimented on. Because the government used to do it without telling them. Listen to this, Amelia. You want to talk about lying motherfuckers? They used to tell them that they were doctors.
What?
They weren't doctors. They were fucking mad scientists. Okay? You can't. You listen to me.
You can't make this shit up.
Make this up. You just cannot. You just cannot. Okay. I mean, you can't.
Was it like that they had like maybe new equipment that they had never used before, so they were trying to use it on these people as well as medication?
Well, that's part of it. It was a new technology, definitely new medicines, new technologies and medicines for sure. But the other thing was they wanted to see if they could create the perfect human robot.
Oh, okay.
That's what MK Ultra meant. Mind control ultra. Freemasons built it. Freemasons destroyed it. Brother, I got news for you. You don't know how right you are, but there's only one little flaw in that. The Freemasons are at it again. This time, Jeff, they're not making any bones about it. They're not making any secrets. They want you to know it was them.
Yep. And I believe Saudi Arabia did come up with the perfect robot that does the emotions, does the eyebrows, does the smile, the sad face already.
No. We're not even talking about that.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like real
the real people.
Yes, exactly. Like I'll give you, and you know who Elon Musk is?
Yes.
Okay. Elon Musk, and you can't make this up. Again, if you think I'm kidding, go Google it. The company that Elon Musk owns, one of the companies that he owns, has created a chip that you implant in your brain, surgically implant in your brain, and it will control everything you do. The person working the remote control on that can create the perfect human robot.
Oh my goodness.
When I say human robot, I'm
It's
not
us.
talking about machinery.
It's
I'm talking
us.
about flesh and blood. Okay? This
Mm-mm.
is scary shit this guy's involved with. So those people out there who think Elon Musk is, hey, he's fucking cool and right on and blah. Let me tell you something. He's as evil a motherfucker as the rest of them. But
That's
the most
scary.
evil of all of them, is Bill Gates.
Mm-hmm.
Period, bar none. So, on behalf, I'm not sorry. We're not done yet.
Mm-mm.
Tomorrow night, join Amelia and Carrie Jeffries on The Big Mouth, and their subject matter tomorrow is a very controversial one, but needs to be talked about. I will be joining them, like it or not. I will be joining them, and we're going to talk about autism. We're going to talk about, is there a real autism epidemic?
Right. Yeah, you're our special guest
We
tomorrow.
don't think there is, actually. We think it's all been made up and contrived. We think that people are being manipulated and misdiagnosed. In fact, not only do we know it, I can prove it. I have the smoking gun, and it comes from the government itself. Okay. So there you go. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
People want to know where I get my shit from. I got a friend who's very well placed. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. And I'll never say anything else. Very well placed.
Yes.
Okay?
And then we have a
My
special
friend-
episode next Tuesday, but I'm not going to say anything yet till Friday. We'll find out Friday.
Yeah.
It's going to be a special episode next week.
So, on behalf of Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman.
Don't get me angry, people.
On behalf of Jammin' Joe Chapman. And on behalf of Jeff, call me Mac Daddy Chapman. I am Angelo, the Mad Dog DeCipio.
And don't get him mad either.
You know what, she's in so much trouble, folks. You don't even know.
Yeah,
You're really
right.
up there.
Yeah, wait.
All right, listen, kid, we're going to get out of here. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.